Hostile takeover. Amon's forces are using their missiles and laser drill to target your structures from afar. Whatever they burn down, they will rebuild as their own. Guard your base as well, but don't forget the void rifts that threaten to destroy Korhal itself. Alrighty, so today we're gonna be playing this week's mutation mission in StarCraft 2 on the brutal difficulty. And apparently we are indeed on the Rifts to Korhal mission, which is one of my personal favorites. I mean, you can quick expand and all that sort of shenanigans. But anyways, this first one has to be the missile command, right? Yep, there we go. Endless missile bombardments target your structures and must be shot down throughout the mission. Fair enough, that one's actually easily doable as long as you get a little bit of static defense and some good anti-air, which we're gonna need anyway because we're gonna have to kill void rifts. Then we also have got the Eminent Domain. Enemies gain control of your structures after destroying them. So these actually go together really, really well because the missiles will try and blow up a lot of the buildings. And then last but not least, there is also the laser drill. An enemy laser drill constantly attacks player units within enemy vision. Actually, this may very well be Swann's week to shine. I mean, let's think about it for a second. He's got really good anti-air, just his default unit composition that is usually based around the Goliath will indeed be extremely powerful against all of the missiles that will be flying across the map. On top of that, all of his static defense is very good as well. I mean, you can build it very early on into the game and salvage it and all that sort of stuff. And last but not least, we also have the laser drill. And if I'm not mistaken, it will indeed like turn around and start target firing down the missiles as well. So I think actually Swann may very well be extremely good. So I want to base my unit composition around Goliaths and Science Vessels for this very first attempt. I got the combat drop duration and life as well for the Ares bots because we are gonna need that quick expansion. Then we've got the additional structure health, which I think makes a lot of sense if we need some additional static defense. And then also the reduced build time right here on the laser drill.
Corporal Faraday reporting in with a sitrep, commanders. Amon's forces are summoning Void Shards all across the city. We're looking at total devastation if they're allowed to activate. I need you to take down those shards while there's still time.
They're already here. I didn't realize that the missile bombardment would literally start off at like the very first second of the mission. You know what? I think I may very well start up with an engineering bay then and help out my ally here as well. I'm grouped up together with Sushi-kun, who's indeed playing Zagara here, which should be a pretty good solution as well. But look at that. They're going to be able to do a lot of damage very early on already, which is a little bit terrifying. You know what? I'll just power build a couple of static defensive structures, because that probably is going to be very helpful here. Of course, we are going to need that economy. That's one of the things that you kind of do need as a... actually, let me move one over here. That's one of the things that you do need as a player here. Because if you want to max out on Swann, his army is extremely powerful and very, very, very good. It's just a little tricky to get to work properly because they are very expensive as well. Pretty much all of his stuff is really pricey. There we go. Trying to help out both of our bases. And I think I'll go ahead and put up one second turret over in this direction as well. And that should cut down most of the aggression here already. Because these spinning dizzies will do a lot of work. Alrighty. I could actually get some additional static defense here as well. There we go. That's perfect, actually. I was gonna say, like, we are gonna, of course, need some static defense here early on as well to defend. But I'm starting to think here that, you know, Zagara will probably be able to do that. Can you, Def? I already spend a lot of resources on this aggressive play. Yeah, he's got plenty. He's got plenty. All right. I'll go ahead and move over here. I want to make sure that I get my factory going, of course. The nice thing about this commander is that you can indeed power build buildings very nicely. Actually, there's a lot more here than I had anticipated. Alright, it should be okay. It should be okay. Ooh, actually. Whoops. Alright. We gotta try that again. Alrighty, so here we go again. Now, this was a little bit of a minor slip-up. Basically, Sushi-kun ended up forgetting building his baneling's nest. And maybe I should have gone ahead myself as well and, you know, added on some static defense here. Of course, I got a really powerful, what's she called? Flaming Betty, I think? Flaming Betty? Yeah, Flaming Betty right there. She's really powerful at dealing with all of that stuff. But I do need a factory for that one to work out. So I make sure, once again, to get some static defense going. There we go. That should make things a little bit easier. And I guess I can get it as a follow-up as well. Maybe I should just go ahead and grab it over here instead. Maybe I can just limit it to a single turret instead of having to build two to defend both of our bases. This should actually be alright. That's gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt a whole lot less. All right, very good. Next up, I'll go ahead and grab myself the factory. Factory should be very helpful too. I don't know if I'm gonna need any turrets right here in the back. I haven't seen anything come in from that direction just yet. Is that gonna hit? That's actually still hurting. Nah, I'm not gonna be able to get that factory out in time. Alright, this time around we do indeed have a really quick mailing nest. Which is good because it's gonna give a lot of free units. Really? Okay, I was gonna say, a lot of it bypasses though. Oh, that's alright. That's alright. I should have actually built this one a little bit differently then. Fine. I was trying to be cheeky here. We'll salvage the one that we already had. Very good. I'm gonna go ahead and expand here next. I can't really defend against everything, but if I could get a Blaster Billy up, that means that I will be able to get my expansion really easily. There's the Banelings that will be spawning very shortly. And of course, I can now go ahead and get this thing going here. Now, the funny thing is, I'm playing Zagara here, and of course my ally indeed is playing... Or sorry, I am playing Swann here, and my ally is playing Zagara. The funny part about that is that these players, like these two commanders, are sort of like polar opposites. In a lot of instances, you're gonna... You know, you're gonna try and get like the biggest army out and like the slowest army as well as the Swann player. But then at the same time, as Zagara, of course, you're gonna be able to, you know, like max out an army very, very, very easily. Which is definitely playing out a little bit differently. But regardless, it should be a pretty good composition, I suppose. If I manage to get to like, you know, a maxed out state, I'm gonna be able to do a lot of damage. Like, once I max out on in particular like Science Vessels and Goliaths, I will be able to do a ton. Of course, I do have my arrows bot here as well. And of course, my laser Draken, or my Draken laser drill rather, is done now as well. So we'll make sure to get ourselves the additional Vespian gas here to start the production. So we can start researching that laser Draken as well, or that Draken laser drill rather, to really get some additional damage in. At the same time, I'll start producing a turret over here.
Sending you the location of your main objective.
All right.
Now that Void Shard needs to be destroyed post-haste, commanders.
I do have the bots available.
I am eternal.
Although, I don't think we're really gonna need it.
Be ready.
I can use it here as a defensive measure. And then go from there. Probably a fine option. Yeah, that's actually probably the best option that we have here. There we go. Of course, I can indeed get some additional gas income here as well by dropping those on my allies. Okay. There we go. They're going to be able to do a lot of damage. There are a lot of missiles, though. A lot more than I had anticipated here. We can nuke down the first objective, which should be alright. It's actually quite a lot more missiles than I had anticipated here. Now, luckily for us, the static defense is very significant. So that should do a pretty good job at it. But
Blows up pretty, doesn't it? The enemy will summon more soon.
it's all about the early game. Like,
Not good. Multiple Void Shards in play. Your objective is to take them out.
once we get maxed out, we're in a great spot. Before that, however, it's a little bit more tricky to try and get things to work. And I really need to try, you know, I really need to try and just simply get as many researches done here as I can. And then start building a big army. Very good. As you can see, though, spending this much, like, early game income on all of that static defense is turning out to be a rather pricey objective. But since we are indeed making a lot of anti-air already, those RS bots are so good. Since we are already making a lot of anti-air, I think we will be alright. I can start producing my double Goliaths at a time now. And then very shortly, I want to start switching into that starport as well. So we can start up the Science Vessels. Which will be able to keep my units alive very easily. And you can see the laser drill, it is turning around. Like, Swann is doing a magnificent job here so far. Really, really good. Just in case, I'll go ahead and put up one more turret up there. But I think with that, we have sort of like got a really good army and like composition here already to start making whatever we please. Okay. Started unit production. Bow, bow, bow. Trying to get the upgrade here as well, just so we can get a lot of those researches done. There is indeed something attacking up here, but I mean, I was gonna use my laser here, but Scourges should be perfect as well. There we go. I'll try and get as much income here as we can. Of course, now that I've got some additional harvesters once again, I can indeed set up some more of those bots. That will indeed increase our gas income, which is sort of like the limiting factor, I suppose. Need to make sure I get as many of those as we can. There we go. And, I mean, already, this army is starting to look rather menacing. I'll go ahead and grab myself the +2/+2 as well. Look at that, though. So sick. Like, that Dragon laser drill, it's so good. The laser drill is extremely helpful here. Alright, now I can indeed start dropping some supply now as well. On some gas, rather, on some of these science vessels. Which I think is very helpful. There we go. And, I mean, we can start double producing those here very shortly, as well as double upgrading all of my other units. I'll get a second armory here too. And I guess one more depot because we can. All of these units do cost rather much. There we go. Alright, well, I am pretty much good to start moving here. You can see that there are indeed a lot of missiles coming in. But with the static defense that we currently have got set up, things are looking really solid here. I'll queue up as many of those things as possible. Maybe it is a little bit preemptive. I know it's not ideal the way to do that, but let's go.
Enemies coming for our base.
Oh.
Thought you might want to know.
Okay, very good. We got the perfect setup right now to deal with all of this stuff. We are indeed getting a lot more income. There are Scourges now as well that will deal with these missiles. And of course, Sagara herself will be able to do a good job as well. Alright. Dropping in the bots. Going for the nuke. Going for the explosions. And simply doing as much damage as we possibly can. Now look at that. We're absolutely demolishing this here.
Kill them all. Now that's what I like to see. Void Shard terminated.
That's a good time every time.
Okay, very good. Let's go for the bonus objective.
Numerous Void Shards detected. We need to destroy them ASAP.
Don't want to be caught off guard, of course. But here we go.
That's the thing about the Dominion. Even in a crisis, our rule of law holds firm.
I actually did get supply blocked a little, but that's okay. We can build up things really quickly. You can see right now, like, this army composition is working out like a charm. Nothing's really doing any damage to us. Now, I do have to keep track here of all of my different missile turrets, because indeed, some of them do get some hits in, which is a little bit unfortunate. I can do, of course, the same for my ally here. And, I mean, as long as we don't take too much damage here from all of the shenanigans, we should be able to start moving here very nicely. Of course, the science vessels are also detectors. We don't really need detectors though, because we got so many science vessels here already. Science vessel Goliath is so good, honestly. All right, we'll go ahead and defend. We have no need here to rush either. I don't really need siege tanks. I thought I was queuing up some of those on accident. Looks like I was indeed. But look at this, like, we're cleaning up all of this stuff so easily. At this point, things are looking very good. I'll go ahead here and get as many of these researches done as possible. I really think that Swann for once, like, Swann is usually sort of like the odd one out, right? Like, Swann is super powerful and so good. But he takes forever to max out. He takes forever to max out. But since the static defense here is working out so well, he's sort of like a mix between like Karax and then like the strongest maxed out commander you could come up with. Anyway, my combat drop will be done here in just a little bit too, but I don't really need my arrows drop here, I don't think. Because while my frames are dropping, everything else is alright. I could use Irradiate a little bit more, I guess, but there's not that many biological units here. Did I get all of the research done here? It looks like I did. I'll go ahead and get some more of these dudes as well. Just because, generally speaking, the later you go into the game, the more run out of gas you get as Carracks. So it is pretty important for me to get some Hellbat Rangers here too. Is that what they're called, Hellbats? No, they're just called Hellbat Rangers. Or they're just called Hellbats, rather.
Sending them back.
Alright. Now let me go ahead and try and max out here.
Group of shards left. Crush them into dust and end this fight.
Let me try and go ahead here and max out as soon as we can. I am indeed spending a lot of my minerals right now on trying to get all of these depots out, which is fine. It's so cool though to have the double production. It works out like a charm. There we go. Ooh, there's a nuke coming in on the minimap. Oh, just peachy. Boop. Very good. All right. There's another enemy attack wave coming in. Okay. Didn't really need to use that. I think my turrets right here are gonna be fine, right? I got 3 of them set up. There's actually somehow a bunch of aggression here. How did I get vision? It doesn't really matter anyway. Alright, I'm gonna go and try and head over to the bottom right here. The reason for that is that the bonus objective will be located over there. In just a little bit. We're cleaning up as much as we possibly can. And while there is a ton of movement here on the minimap, nothing is really hitting us, is it? Maybe I should just get a little bit more static defense. Maybe I don't even need the Hellbat Rangers, to be honest with you. Oh, that's why I'm having such low income here. These dudes are not mining half the time.
Those filthy pirates are trying for another score. Let's lay down the law, commanders.
Got him.
Pirate ship neutralized. Nothing worse than pirates and traitors.
I thought for a second he said traders. That would not make a whole lot of sense. He's getting the hard ones here, though. Maybe I should set up some help here as well. What exactly is giving him vision here? Ooh, actually, there's a lot of damage coming in now. I'm not sure what's causing all of this. Luckily, you can, of course, remake drones really quickly. But it's a little odd. He's getting a lot of static defense in now, though. Maybe they are increasing the amount of turrets that are spawning here. Which would be a little strange, but not unheard of. I'm currently actually pretty much out of minerals for the first time. Anyway, I'm gonna start moving. I think we should start moving. I thought he was actually fine. Oh man, it's not good for my frame rate, game. There's many missiles, I suppose. All right. Look at this mess. I can just go ahead and put my hands off of the keyboard and be totally fine. At least eventually all of these things will be taken care of.
Looks like you nixed another Void Shard,
Oh well,
Commander.
I'm not particularly microing my units very well, but
We will not rest until the Swann is triumphant.
it's funny how some missions that, you know, are mutation missions, like for example the ones that we had in the last few weeks, are very, very, very difficult, right? And then we have the ones, like for example this one, where, I mean, sure, we made a little bit of a minor mistake in the very first attempt, right? By not getting a Baneling Nest, I suppose, and me not building a Flaming Betty, which I could have also, you know, prevented that engagement with. But all things considered, this one is turning out to be significantly easier, and it truly is. It truly is Swann's time to shine. Absolutely brilliant.
That's all of the Void Shards. The city is ours. You hear that, Amon? The Dominion is not so easily defeated.
I'm not gonna lie, I love playing some Swann. It's been a while since we actually tried him out. The thing is that oftentimes he's just a little bit too slow in the early game, right? You don't really start building up units until you have like 2 bases set up, and in particular on the maps where you don't get your expansion very quickly. Swann is just really tricky to try and make work, because while he does maxes out eventually, right? And once he does, his army is pretty much unstoppable and definitely the strongest in the game. It just takes him so much longer to get there. Plus, he has biceps the size of his head. I mean, what is not to love about this man right here? Plus, he has a fabulous mustache, let's be real. But anyways, so we managed to complete this week's mutation mission on the brutal difficulty. Hostile takeover, indeed, turned out to be relatively easy, and Swann's time to shine. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button down below, and if you want to see more, make sure you hit that subscribe button. On top of that, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Links are in the description of the video. I'd really appreciate it. And other than that, I want to thank you for watching. Have an amazing day. Do not forget to smile, alright? And I will see you in the next one.